All right, so ladies and gentlemen, it's now my great pleasure to invite our first challenge of the day. Enter a new challenger. This is a business challenge from the IMDA Public Service Broadcast team. Now, what does the Public Service Broadcast team do? Right. So basically, just a bit about Singapore's public service broadcast. The content aims to celebrate Singapore's shared identity, our diverse culture, and to foster a cohesive, connected society. So IMDA, through the PSB program, right, supports the production of a range of locally produced PSB programs to cater to the diverse viewing interests of our public. Okay, and today's topic, right, the challenge is a challenge that is of interest to not just IMDA, but also across the globe, right, to all the, for example, the cable TV providers, the main stations own all the over-the-top channels, and even social media channels. So if you're talking about a technology, right, a business challenge, right, that is of interest to, for example, Netflix, and your Singtels and stuff of the world, right? This is that challenge, okay? So it's basically called data collection of consumption across TV, digital, and social media for targeted audiences, all right? So this is something that's very, very unique, and IMDA is very, very pleased to present this challenge, and we hope to tap on the diverse energy and technology and expertise of the OIP community, right, to solve this issue. Because if you have a solution for this challenge, right, it may be applicable global. And can you imagine, for example, if I ask you, what is the #1 show that everybody's talking about right now? Okay, and please don't say Squid Game. It's not Squid Game. It's actually 9 Hours Cinematics. But okay, I digress. So basically, we want to find a way, right, to track viewing the popularity of shows, right, across diverse platforms, including over the top, including online, including streaming networks, and also what are people talking about their favorite shows online. So if you have a solution for this, it's going to be your game, right? So to bring on my colleague from IMDA to explain more, it's my pleasure right now to invite Miss Leanne Lu. Hi, Leanne. She's assistant director in the service broadcasting team of OIP, and we have worked together over the years, right, Leanne? Hi, nice to see you again. It's been quite a while.
Hi.
So I'm going to invite you right now to officially tell the audience about your challenge, which is data collection of consumption across TV, digital, and social media for targeted audiences. So take it away, Leanne.
Okay, thanks, Billy. Actually, I'm not sure. I'm trying to share screen. I'm not sure if everyone can see the slides.
I can see your slides, but is it a slide sorter view right now? Yeah.
And change this. Is it better? Can you all see
it's better now, yeah.
Okay, so everyone, hi, good afternoon. And thanks, Billy, for the introduction. So I save time. I don't have to go through what IMDA does. And in fact, you've even touched on PSB, but I'll go a little bit deeper for those who are less familiar. So Billy talked about how, let me just do a quick self-introduction. I'm Leanne. And like Billy said, we are colleagues from IMDA, but the division that I work for is called Public Service Broadcast, and as the name suggests, right, we want to cater to the public for we provide public service content basically in the form of TV programs, radio programs, and actually the mission is to foster a connected and informed society through engaging and informative public service content. And the crux of this is that we want to be able to get these messages across, and these public service broadcast content, or PSB for short, should carry these objectives, right? The 6 boxes on the second, this part, right? So the content should promote social values, racial and religious harmony. We want our programs to also promote the Singapore identity, celebrate our culture and heritage, foster an informed society, as well as to stimulate knowledge and learning. So every single PSB content should carry one or more, or even all of these objectives, so that it helps us to reach out to the public and everybody. I mean, that's the message we want to get across. And being on a national level, our PSB content will be delivered across not just the FTA TV, but also now on MeWatch, CNA, and in the 4 official languages: English, Mandarin, Malay, and Tamil. Okay, and then some of the examples, like I mentioned just now, it could be a TV program in the form of news, info ad, drama, even a movie, and of course, news and current affairs. Okay, so in order to, maybe before I come to this a rather confusing page, if I just keep this here first. So because we are providing the public service content to the nation, we need to ensure that this content with our specific objective reaches out to all these people, whether they are young, old, across the races. So how we measure our own effectiveness today is through the SG10. Okay, SG10 stands for the Singapore Television Audience Measurement System. This has been in operation since 2016, and basically where we draw the data of viewership is through two panels. So if you look at on the left-hand side under number 1, sources of demographics, we are currently obtaining viewership data from our TV household panel. So there are about 1,200 households as well as 2,000 odd individuals, where we kind of track their digital consumption, be it on mobile or laptop, iPad, okay, basically digital devices. So wherever they consume, whatever they consume, that's being tracked. And the whole idea is to understand whether the content that we put out, have they reached the target audience that we intend the program to reach to? So by having the TV panel as well as the digital panel, we have a better understanding of whether a program that was made for a more senior person is reaching to that group of our community. And this is how today we measure. Okay, so this is a very normal way of collecting data through the TV panel. And in Singapore, we have an additional digital panel. So that's already an extra step. But what we're looking for, because today, the content, the PSB content that we put up is not just residing on the MediaCorp free-to-air channels. Okay, as you know, most of us already are aware that we consume content on a lot of different kinds of platforms, including, YouTube, Facebook, and then Netflix. So just now Billy mentioned, answer is not Squid Game, but the reality is people do go onto, all these different kind of platforms, and not just on free to air like it was like maybe 20, 30 years ago. Okay, so likewise, PSP has partnered various online we've collaborated basically with a lot of online partners to be able to also put our PSB content on those platforms where we know the younger audience perhaps are more in tune to it. They are watching less TV, but they are also visiting a lot more. It's not that they're watching less content, but they're just watching content elsewhere. So we've already grown our partnership. So PSB content are also being, broadcast and shared and posted on these different platforms. So similarly, our measurement has to be up to date. So that's what we want to do. We want to make sure that content that was produced, that we intend for a certain audience, do get to those audiences, and we need to now measure to see whether have we been successful. So that's why in short, we want to have an innovative data collection solution that captures and integrates all these data, media consumption at the program level, because we fund these programs. The PSB programs are by titles, right? So we want to know whether has Kin done well, has My Star Bright, whether when they are broadcast on TV or on digital devices, whether they're shared on social media, how do they perform? And so we are looking for something that captures not just on TV and digital devices, but also on social media, because a lot of people are also sharing content on their Facebook, and I think now even TikTok and Instagram, all these are becoming very, very popular platforms. So what we like is the ability to measure reach and engagement, because reach is just just a touch point, but we are also interested in knowing whether has this content been engaging enough for you to watch sufficient of it. Okay, so this is the brief that we've put out. How might we develop an integrated system for capturing data on consumption by Singapore population across TV, digital, and the social media platforms? This is also, of course, to help us better understand the viewing habits, the viewing pattern, audience preferences, so that we can tailor the content to these different target audiences. Okay, so to put it simply and a little bit more pointedly, we're looking for a prototype that can passively measure, because I think when you make somebody do something it's going to be difficult. So if it's a passive collection of data, that would be ideal. That's what we're looking for. Less work for the consumer to do. You are just measuring what they consume, and then the ability to integrate all these media content consumption from all these different platforms. So say for me, for example, if I'm watching TV on FTA, but I also watch Netflix, I also go on other platforms, on the mobile when I'm traveling, all these need to be captured and also identified back to just me. So at the program level, as granular as possible. And then we have added this system to be able to gather viewer sentiments, because I think for us that's very important. Whether has the person who watched the content, have they resonated with our content? Because you see, at the end of the day, the PSP content is meant to, sort of like give provide some values, right? They're supposed to share some values with you. So you want to be able to know whether at least we would like to know whether has this program touched you in some way, where it has impacted you, that makes you want to, change your behavior a little bit, or make you more conscious and make you a little bit more empathetic, So it's those kind of things where we want to also gather how engaging the content has been, that has perhaps maybe even influence your behavior. For us, of course, real time or near real time is important. And the other important component is that it has to be representative of the Singapore population. And the one last thing we've added is, as we move towards a cookieless world, we are hoping that maybe the solutions can also address that aspect of it. This is already, I think we put this up as part of the, maybe it was not so clear, but then the evaluation is going to take place in 2 stages. First of all, we will, for all submissions that come in, and we hope to receive quite a number, I hope. So we'll be evaluating all the submissions, and we will score it in stage 1, and then the top 5 problem solvers with a score of at least 65% will be shortlisted to stage 2. Okay, and in stage 2 is when we will have an interview with these shortlisted 5, and then the up to 5, and then so that we have a better understanding of how the proposed solution may be a fit for our Singapore market. So the weightage will be a 60-40, 60 from stage 1, 40% from stage 2. Okay, and then of course the highest combined score, the problem solver with the highest combined score will be the finalist, will be awarded, and we are open to awarding up to 2 finalists. Okay, this has been shared in the challenge brief. So like I said earlier, stage 1 carries 60%, stage 2 carries 40%. So what we're looking for is, of course, solution fit, whether the proposed idea, proposed solution meets what we are looking for in terms of how do we collect all these data from different platforms, the integration, the granularity, the representativeness. So that will be the solution fit. And then readiness, of course, is how soon can this idea go to market, right? If we are interested in that, then the other areas would be the cost effectiveness. There'll be 7 points given for innovativeness. And of course, we would like to see the team's ability to also ramp up should this be selected. Okay. Billy has kind of touched on, thank you for promoting this. So we have a prize money of 50,000 for each finalist if we are able to get 2, but if not, it's still 50,000 for each of the finalists, and then it will be awarded in proportion of 30% upon the issuance of the letter of award before you start the prototype development, and then 70% upon the completion. But of course, there'll be you will have a agreed milestone between the finalists and IMDA. And earlier on, Billy has also touched on the ability to also gain access to IMDA's technology resources, the facility for prototyping, and also some expertise on how you may be able to complete this project. So finally, the deadline. Yeah, so ours is the latest of the call 11. You have until the 19th of November, 4 p.m. So I'm really hoping for submissions to come in. Like he says, don't wait for the last minute, but I do realize that this is quite a challenge. So do put your thinking caps on, and we hope to see submissions coming in. Thank you.
Thank you, Leanne. Okay, I'm going to open up the session to the floor right now. So we're waiting for questions to come in from the floor. So I think everybody's just trying to digest the complexity of this, very, very interesting challenge. So I'm going to give them a couple of seconds to sort of get, act together and to come up with questions for Leanne. But Leanne, I do have a question for you, right? Maybe you can tell me right now, what is the current SGTEM system like, the current one? Yeah.
When you see current one, I mean, like I said, right, over here, today we have a quite a comprehensive system where we can measure TV viewership of up to the program level. And then for that particular TV program that's also watched on MeWatch, we are also able to measure that. And because we also have a digital panel, the digital panelists also have got a tracker, so we will know exactly what platforms they have accessed, what website, what apps they are on, but to the level of the detail of whether it's which particular program, it all depends on whether the like YouTube will never allow us. But then if we have a working partnership with a partner, then we will know what exactly that content was watched. So today, actually, we already have we have already an integrated kind of data output, right, where you have consumption of TV program, TV plus the same program on digital, and we have got it integrated already. We are also able to tag, we are also able to track, anything, the sensors, like basically anybody who's watching a MeWatch program on MeWatch, we are able to track that, but it's just that whether we have down to the program level, yes, for MediaCorp, but whether we are able to track it down to the particular audience types, whether it's a male 35, Chinese, that one is a little bit more difficult for the digital content side, but we definitely have that granularity for TV.
Okay, that's great. So basically, for this new generation SGTEM, right, so to speak, so what sort of technologies are you looking for, or what sort of formats are you looking for? I mean, if the proposal only comes out and say, I only have an app, right? Are you okay with that?
Actually, we're open for anything.
Okay.
Like I said, the current TEM is quite a stable one, and it's like a gold standard, right? So around the world, a lot of countries use the panel-based TV audience measurement system as well. That means they have a TV panel, households that are fitted with meters that also then they're able to track the viewership of those TV homes by the individuals who watch in that home who watches the show. They're able to track how long, what kind of program each individual member of that household watches. So that's a stable. What SGTEM has in addition is a digital panel that overlaps with the TV panel. So we're also able to understand better each of these each of the members in these TV households, if they are also a digital panelist, we can tell whether, so that we do not duplicate the viewership. So if I have watched Kin on TV, and if I happen to watch Kin that same episode again on my mobile later that night, for whatever reason, if I kind of missed the episode, I want to watch that, or maybe I just wanted to see that scene again, then I will be counted as still just one person, rather than, if we have it separate sources, then it will be, I'm one person on TV, I'm another person on digital. So today we have already got it integrated. So our views are already deduplicated, so to speak. But what we are missing now, I think the gap is in the social media.
Social media, okay.
We've not been able to capture the viewership on social media. With our digital panelists, we know that they've gone to YouTube, we know that they've gone to Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. We have that data, but it's just that we're not able to go further down to understand who are these. We know who in terms of the demographic profile, but we do not know exactly what content they have watched on that platform. We do not know that we know that they've gone to YouTube, but which content on YouTube, we have very little information. And that's where we would like to find out more, because as we have our PhD programs on YouTube also, that will become very relevant for us to understand.
Okay, thank you, Leanne. I need to tell you that I asked this question because I wanted to also address the first two questions from the floor, and I think let's repeat them. First question from Samantha Sim, and she was asking, what are the current methods of data collection and what kinds of data do you collect? So I believe you've given a very good answer already. So Samantha, I hope you are satisfied. If not, do feel free to follow up with an add-on question for Leanne. Okay, and then Anonymous also asked, can you give some specific examples of the data you want to track? So I believe Leanne also given us a very good example of the kinds of viewing data and the granular detail that they need from this system. So I think, Anonymous, I think we believe will answer your question as well. So there's one question from Gladys Ong, and Gladys is asking, for social media or digital platforms, is Google Analytics not sufficient? Okay, Leanne and team, what do you say to this? Is Google Analytics enough for you to track, viewing habits on social media or digital platforms?
I guess we need a better understanding of the profile behind it. Who's the person, whether, I mean by demographics, whether, because if I've got a program that I'm targeting specifically at the 15-year-old youth or 15 to 19-year-old youth, then I would like to know whether have I reached them, and then in terms of the consumption pattern, what kind of programs are they like, and then are they, do they, how much of it will they watch? Because I would like to understand whether this PhD content that we've created and put out there, put out for them, whether it has touched them sufficiently, whether it has impacted them sufficiently. So I think I'm not sure whether the Google Analytics is going to give me that kind of granularity. And we like something that can combine all together with TV, because the same content or the same kind of content, right, we have across platforms. So we have the PhD programs on TV, on digital, on social. So we like to see everything integrated as much as possible.
Very good. So you're looking for qualitative. Hi, yes, Dorothy. Hi, welcome.
Just add on to that. I think yes, there's Google Analytics, but Google Analytics is very much something which belongs to the content creator, the partner, and IMDA does not have direct access to those very specific data. So we are trying to not be reliant on platforms to be able to feed us those data, but this data collection method that we're looking at can, there be an innovative way for IMDA to directly have access to the consumption of some of this content that partners working with us on PhD content put out there.
Okay, and it also sounds to me like you're looking for some sort of qualitative way of telling whether people enjoy the program, whether they benefit from the program, or whether they actually the program content resonates with them, so that you're able to maybe plan for better content in future, right? So that's part of the challenge as well, right?
Correct. Yeah. So beyond just
the numbers, right?
We want to know how engaging that content was. So it could come in the forms of, I don't know, on social media there could be sentiment tracking. So there are quite a lot of known tools out there. But what we want is an integrated way of collecting that data. Okay,
and it's not available on the market right now, right? So that's why we have this challenge, this unique challenge for OIP. So thank you, Dorothy.
It's all very separate out there.
So to our tech solvers out there, this is your opportunity to make history by creating this all-in-one platform. And if it works right, you can actually commercialize it. So good news for you. Okay, we have a question from someone on the floor, and I believe this person is very interested in this challenge, because this person is asking, how fast do you intend to roll out the solution? So Team PSB, please don't say yesterday.
Well, we currently have a system already active, and we've got industry players using this system. So of course, as soon as it's able to service us and service the industry as soon as possible, I think would be it. But then we're realistic now. We need to see how it's going to fit in, and if it is meant for the industry. Sometimes what we do is we have a parallel run in terms of what I mean is, our current system is already providing data for the industry. They're using it as a currency for trade, for advertising. So I think there needs to be an overlap period where the two systems maybe run in parallel to see whether everything's okay before we just drop the ball and go with the new system.
Yeah. So basically, I also want to tell the contributor, the questioner, that actually don't worry. OIP is a collaborative process. It's not just about you coming in and then we force you to come out with the solution quickly. It's actually a collaborative step-by-step process where we work together to develop the solution, right? So don't worry about the deadline. I think that's I'll reassure our questioner. Okay, wow, the questions are coming fast and furious for this team. So Team PSB, I had to keep you on, for just a while more. Okay, from Samantha Sim again, is this solution for IMDA's usage, or will IMDA be looking to share the solution with other media companies? Wow, this is a tough one. Team PSB?
For a start is to serve IMDA's needs on how we can better measure PSB content that we work with partners on. So if there is potential for this, and if there's industry interest for this, then yeah, potentially it could be also used by industry, because no one has this one integrated solution. Yeah. So, but for now, we see there's a need for it, because there's a lot of content out there that we support, but there's no one single source that we could measure them on.
So in a way, we are looking forward to creating the one system to measure them all, right? So it sounds very, very impressive. Thank you, Dorothy. Yeah. Okay, coming up next from Anonymous. All right. How do you envision that the data collection for social media can be representative of the population? That is, would it be more of general sentiment tracking or tracking selected representative households? That's sounds like a very good question. Yeah. Team PSB, what do you say to this?
Well, when you look at when you're proposing your solution, we would like to hear from you. How then could you collect it in a way to show that this data is representative? What kind of method would you then apply to show that this is representative? Yeah, so we do want the data to be nationally representative, because we would then use this as a means to assess how much of the population are we reaching. Yeah.
Okay.
If I can just add.
Yes, Leanne, welcome. Yes, please.
Yeah, I mean, just to give a bit of context, because I think earlier on I was kind of trying to go through the slides very quickly for this Q&A, so I may have missed just on this page, right? When we talk about nationally representative data, so today our system is a nationally representative one, because we do a ongoing annually we do what we call the establishment survey. The establishment survey is like a national audience study, where we actually get we get the household samples from doors, and then we do the interview with the TV households to understand for the various TV household types, what's the viewing behavior like. So you'll see that annually at the bottom of this slide, we do up to 5,000 households every year on a continual basis, and we have been doing this since 2015, and we see that year on year there have been behavioral changes, changes in the TV viewing households. So those are the kind of things that will then inform us how then can we keep our SG panel to be representative, because the ES informs us of the state of our population and TV households, and therefore the panel that we select has got to be representative and reflect the national pop. So today, this is how we do it, through an establishment survey to ensure nationally representative data. So to Samantha, is it your question? Yeah, so Dot says, propose to us, how do you intend to make it nationally representative? Because it has to be a Singapore data point, so it has to be representative.
Yeah, we're open to hear from you, because this may be the way that we've been doing it, but there may be other innovative ways to also do it. So we don't want to be constrained by just because we're doing it this way, then the solutions come back the same method. That's why this is an innovation call here. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much, Dorothy and Leanne. So basically, once again, to tell our audience, right, we are looking at new ideas, even crazy ideas, as long as you are convinced that it's work, and you can convince the product owners that it works, right? So again, collaborative and open-ended. So you don't have to be limited to what has been done before. Okay, so thank you very much. And I think the last question, wow, this comes from somebody very serious about this challenge, I believe. Okay, this question is, how do you intend to collect qualitative data from broadcast television, or will only or is only qualitative data is required? Only quantitative data is required. So basically, how do you intend to collect qualitative data from the broadcast television? Leanne and Dorothy and Sujin, do you guys want to take this?
We want both.
Yeah, it works.
Yeah, it's like buy one get one free. I want quantitative plus
we
quantitative.
we want to have our cake and eat it. So quantitative is
totally
the
understand,
easiest to collect, right? But on top of that, can we also get the, how then do you get that qualitative data from the person who has watched it on TV as well? Yeah. So think out of the box of how can you tell that someone has watched it on TV, and then having watched it on TV, how can you then, on an almost real-time basis, reach out to them and say, give us your feedback, and poll them.
Yeah, so once again, today we are already collecting both qualitative and quantitative. It's just that they are now kind of separate and we have to put them together, and we're just not sure whether the method that we're using now is the best or the most advanced. So we're looking to anybody out there with an innovative solution on, could we do everything at one go? So by watching and, after watching, how would I know how you feel? Because on social media, we are very aware that, people after they watch or they consume something, they will like, they will share, they will post, and they will talk about it. So it's along those kind of lines. But then how then do we capture these sentiments, and categorize them in a way that's user friendly for us in terms for our analysis?
Yeah. To share today, this is done. The qualitative piece is done through a survey after the fact, and there's a certain time lag, so people do it based on recall. Yeah, so that is a limitation in the method that we use today when we conduct surveys, right? Oh, have you watched this program on this platform? Give us your feedback. Yeah, so if we can try to bring that forward a bit more to closer to, if you can detect, your method could detect like they have actually watched this content, and quite quickly, that kind of a reaction can be captured. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. I believe you guys have survived the Baptism of Fire. We have finished all the questions from the floor right now. So maybe I'll let you guys go off before somebody comes in with last minute questions. So thank you very much, my colleagues from IMDA's Public Service Broadcast team. Thank you very much, Dorothy, Sujin, and Leanne. Thank you very much for presenting your challenge. And ladies and gentlemen from the audience, basically, this team is looking for your most interesting, the most dynamic way of fulfilling the objective, capturing the quantitative as well as qualitative data from the television audience as well as audiences on social media and streaming platforms, so that we can better understand what content resonates best with the audience. Therefore, we can actually curate and produce program content that can really be popular with them, fulfill all the needs, as well as maybe go global. I mean, I'm talking about us producing our next, the next show that everybody around the world is talking about. So thank you very much, PSB team. I look forward to all the exciting submissions for your challenge. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. So once again, the deadline for this challenge from the IMDA's Public Service Broadcast team is on the 19th of November, 2021. So we have roughly about a month to polish our proposal and to send in, right? So remember, we have cash monies of 50,000 for each finalist team. So thank you very much, guys. All the best.